Hello everyone and welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to be creating a continuous delivery pipeline for a simple web application. As you can see here in the overview, it says we'll first use a version control system to store its source code. We're going to be using GitHub in this case. And then we are going to be creating a continuous delivery pipeline that will automatically deploy our web application whenever we update our source code. Now, this project is suitable for beginners, and then consider time to complete says 35 minutes, and you're going to be spending nothing because everything we are going to be using will be free tier eligible. Then the things that are going to be needed for this, an AWS account with administrator level access. So basically, you should have an IAM that has administrative permissions. You're going to be needing a GitHub account. Are going to be required to have Git installed on your computer. Now, we're not going to be seeing how to set up a GitHub account in this video. I'm going to put the link to a separate video to show you that in the description. So if at this point you currently do not have a GitHub account, I'd advise that you go watch the simple video on how to do that, set up a GitHub account and have permissions set for remote access to your GitHub. You're also going to need Git installed on your computer. You should do that as well. It says recommended browser is the latest version of Chrome or Firefox. And these are the services we are going to be making use of: the Elastic Beanstalk, the AWS Code Build, and AWS Code Pipeline. I'm expecting that you already have an idea of what these services are and how they what they are used for. So let's get into it. Okay, it says what you will accomplish. Yes, it's going to take you through setting up a GitHub repository for the application code. Please do not mistake this for setting up a GitHub account. Then you create an Elastic Beanstalk environment to deploy the application. You're going to configure AWS Code Build to build the source code from GitHub, and then we're going to use Code Pipeline to set up the continuous delivery pipeline with source, build, and deploy stages, including review anyways. So this is what our architecture is going to look like. Excuse me there. So here, once you make any changes to your source code in your Git repository, it's coming to your pipeline. We're going to be creating a pipeline for this. Then you can have the build stage. We're going to review it and grant manual approval. Then we are going to deploy this. So that's basically it. Let's get started. Enough of the talks. So I'm going to come to module 1 here. And I'm going to just place this side by side with my AWS management console. So I'd advise you do the same thing if you want to read the instructions from this, instead of going from one window to the other window, you could just have them side by side like so. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to set up our Git repo for our code so that it can be easily accessible over the internet. So we are going to be forking a GitHub repository to create a new one. So we have the GitHub repository that contains the source code for this that we are going to be editing. So we are going to be creating a copy of it in our own account. So we're going to store code and metadata in GitHub, and then we're going to interact with the repository using Git. I really would not be using it anyways, but I'm going to show you how that works as well. So Now we have the key concepts explained here. You can just go through them so that you can have an understanding of what they are. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a copy of the repository. So it says in a new browser tab, navigate to GitHub and make sure you logged into your account. In that same tab, open the this example repo, choose this. So what I'm going to be doing, because I'm using the GitHub application on my desktop, is I'm going to just show you a way to do this easily. I'm going to copy this the name of this repo, and then I'll open mine here and search. Please. And then paste and search. So this is it, the one from AWS. So I'm going to open this. Yes, and then we are going to click on this. So once you click on fork, you're going to have to set this up. Basically, you don't have so much to do in here. So yes, I'm copying the main branch only. This is going to be the repository name. I'm going to leave the name that it's coming with, and then, excuse me, I'm going to create fork. So if you come here, you're going to see verify to share your account and choose this, and all of that. So now I've got this in my own account. This is my, okay, this is my copy of it. So yeah, this is my own copy of the source code now, and we are going to move on to the next step. So it says push a change to your new repository. I'm going to minimize this for a while. Okay, go to the repository and choose the green code near this. Okay, so this is what I want to do here. Let me place this side by side as well so that it's easy for you to see what I am doing. So, um, what you want to do here now is you click on code, then you copy this URL to click on. So that is the URL with which you are going to clone this repository to your local machine. What you want to do is you want to bring down the folder to your computer so that you can edit the folder or whatever it is you want to do on the folder. That's editing anyway. So you can edit it there. And then from there, you can always push it to the remote repository. So I've copied this now. Now it says that if you're on Mac or Linux computer, you open your terminal. But if you're on Windows, you launch Git Bash. So I'm using Windows. As I said, I do not really use Git Bash like that. I'll just be using my VS Code. My VS Code editor. But I'm going to show you how to use Git Bash. There's no way I'm still not going to use VS Code in this tutorial anyways, except you have any other. Well, you could use it, but if you are, once you have your Git installed, what you want to do is you want to come here and you want to look for Git. So you're going to open Git Bash, and We'll wait for it. Okay, so now, I'm a very organized person. Don't mind my background. I mean my desktop. That speaks the opposite of being organized. I've just not had time to arrange things in a while. But I usually like um I usually like my what is it called? I like my folders well arranged, or should I say properly organized. So what I'm going to be doing here is first, okay, I wanted to check my present working directory, but I'll not disturb myself. So I'll do cd desktop. I'll go to my desktop, and one thing I could do here is I could make a new folder, and then in the folder I'm going to keep this repository that I want to bring down to my local machine, or you could just put it directly on your desktop. The idea is for you to put it in a place that you can easily, where you can easily find it, where you can easily locate it. So I'm going to be keeping mine on my desktop. And then what we want to do is git clone, and then I'm going to paste the what's it called? That's just a control V. Here, I'm going to paste what I just copied. Yes, I was sure it wasn't going to work. So it's not going to work because I accidentally clicked Control V, and Control V does not work here. So git clone, right click, paste, and enter. So it's going to bring this down to my desktop. If I were to check my desktop now, I should find it somewhere. AWS Elastic Stock, blah, 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 blah. Where are you, my darling? Okay, here you are. This is it here. So one other thing you could do instead is to right click on your desktop and do open git bash here. So instead of doing cd desktop, you are opening the git bash directly on desktop. If you have let's say a folder, assuming I already created a folder. Let me see which. Okay, let's say the AWS do something. I've got those folder. Oh, that's not it. This one I clicked on just now is actually not the one that was cloned. But let's assume that was it, and I want to open my git bash inside. Just right click and do open git bash here, and you're going to have git bash opened inside that place, and whatever you do is happening in this folder. So where is that guy that we just cloned? Okay, this is it here. This is it here. Now this is why I prefer to have things like this in a folder. I can easily just open the folder and find it. So that is it. And then let's go back to what we were doing. What's the next step after cloning? So it says, so you see git clone, and then you paste, excuse me, you paste the URL you just copied from here. Not sure, yeah. The URL you copied from here. Now in the new folder, there is a file named app.js. Open app.js in your favorite code editor. And my favorite code editor is VS Code. So I'm going to be opening my Visual Studio Code, and hmm, hmm. I'm sorry. I was trying to move it, and I think I pissed it off. All right. No, darling. I'm sorry I appear to be so clumsy tonight. All right. So now to open this, so we have VS Code. All you have to do is come here and open folder, and go to my desktop, and here it is. So I'm going to select this folder and then it opens here. Good. So now this is app.js. I've opened it. Now let's see what we've got to do. It says change the message in line 5 to say something other than hello world and save the file. So this is line 5. Let me close this. So hello world. I'm just going to say hello world. I'm Fauzia. Can I spell my name? Okay. Yes, I pissed this guy off. I am Fauzia, and I'm going to save that with Control S. Now go to the folder created with the this, and commit the change with the following commands. So yes, if you're using this, you just go into use those cd AWS this okay, sorry, AWS hyphen elastic. Oh, sorry, there are plenty of them. Elastic beanstalk something, and then we'll run the git commands. But since I am here, instead of going back and forth, I'm just going to open a terminal here. And then I'm going to do whatever it is I've got to do in here. So I'm opening a terminal here and so I'm already in the right folder. So I'm going to do git add app.js and then git commit this. So I've copied that. Control V works here. I'm going to paste. And then I'm going to change this commit message. So hmm, you could leave it as a chain message anyways. So I'm just going to write anything I like in here. And of course, I'm going to use the cliche first. Commit. And then enter. Good. Now we are going to be pushing this. So it says push the local changes to remote repo some. Now I'm going to just do git push. And I think it should work for me straight away. But when you do git push the first time, even when you're using your git bash, you are going to have to grant access to remote access. You're going to grant permission for remote access on GitHub. Unfortunately, I cannot even show you how that is here. You see this going to developer settings in GitHub and configuring personal access tokens. I've never had to do that because once I do this, it actually gives me the message, like it gives me the directives on how to go about it. I get direct links to click, and then I can configure the permissions from there. So I'm hoping that you get the same thing. If you do not, I think the link I was mentioning that I would be putting in the description should show you how to make this configuration easily. If you have watched it at the beginning, then you shouldn't have any problem here. So now that we have done this, we want to test our changes. So it says in your browser window, open GitHub. In the left navigation, this. What you just want to check is you want to be sure that this push that you made now, this change that you made here is now showing in your remote repository. So I'm going to be opening my GitHub and I'll just refresh this. Control R, it's refreshing. And you can see I had a first commit. That's my commit message anyways, 2 minutes ago. So if I come to app.js and I open it, I'm going to say the changes I made just now. You can see that's changed from just hello world to hello world. I am Fauzia. And that is it for the first step. So here is what architecture looks like now, being able to push directly to your Git repository. So we have created a code repository containing a simple web application. We'll be using this repository to start our CD pipeline. So now let's move on to module 2. We want to deploy our web application. So in this module, we will use Elastic Beanstalk to create and deploy a web application. And you want to read about Elastic Beanstalk here. So it says want to create, we'll use the create web app wizard to create an application and launch an environment with the AWS resources needed to run our application. So we're using this environment to deploy the Hello World web application created in Module 1 later on. So here we are going to configure the Beanstalk environment. We are going to deploy the web app to Beanstalk, and we're going to test our sample web app. Again, you want to read on the key concepts here. So now let's do this. We want to configure an AWS Elastic Beanstalk application. So now go to our account and we're going to go to AWS Elastic Beanstalk. You can just search for that up here. Wait here. Search for Elastic Beanstalk and then you get to this point. So we're going to click on create application and says we will choose web server environment under the configure blah 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 blah. In the text box under the heading, so this is going to be the name. I'm just going to copy and paste. So yes, we're going to be using here we're going to be using node.js. So yes, so it says the platform branch and version will populate with default selections. So we are going to leave those, we're not going to touch them. Now confirm that the radio button next to sample application under the application code something. Yes, so we are going to be making use of a sample application that is going to be provided to us. So ensure that you're using single instance for free tier. Go on to the next set of configuration. For service roles, we're going to be using an existing service role. You should find this particular one for Elastic Beanstalk, and it has the required IAM permissions, IAM managed policies for this to function. So the next thing is our EC2 instance profile. So when you come down here to your EC2 instance profile, you would likely not find anything there because these two that are here are what's it called? The ones that I have created myself. I used this one for a separate project and I used this particular one for this project where I created it myself. So in case you're also unable to find any of this ones here, then you have to create one yourself. So let's quickly go through the process of getting that done together. So it's quite straightforward though. So it says complete the steps in this to create an IAM role that you can subsequently select for the EC2 instance profile, then return to this step. So I would click on that link and then would go through this together. Now, We could use the CLI or the console. We're going to be using the console. So, yeah, this place. Now, I don't want to use this tab because I don't want to leave the space. And so I'm going to duplicate this and then sign into the console. All you have to do is just create another tab, but because I've got this window out on its own, it's going to, I don't want to use it. So now it says go to IAM, then create policy. So, and then, okay, let's take this two out so that it is easy for us to follow this through. I could just do it while using my mouse to explain, but I'd like us to follow as it is written in here, just in case there is something a bit different from how I'll do it and then you don't get confused. So would come to IAM, then I'd create policy. So you come down to policies, then create policy. So you're going to be doing this with JSON. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I was going to say the best thing would be to expand this. Okay, I can do this. Not so much. Let's just continue. So now you're going to copy this JSON code, and then you copy the whole of this that you have here. This is what it should look like. And then you paste what you just copied. So this is just showing you how you can restrict the policy instead of allowing gets and the list for all resources. So we'll just use that one since we're not doing anything too serious. And we click on next. So for policy name, it says should type. So just copy and paste. Description is optional, so we're going to skip that. Choose create policy. Oh, sorry. So I already have a policy like this, so I'm just going to add to this, and then I'd say create policy. I used the same name the first time. In the navigation pane, choose roles. So we're going to choose roles and then create roles. And for our use case here, it's going to be EC2 up here. So we're going to choose next. And then we're going to select the this guy that was just created. So I was going to copy all of this and search for this in here. So this is the first one. This is the second one I just created. I'd select this and then go to next. Please read this. So next. Now, what we just want to do here now is to give this name to this role and then create role. Of course, you can enter a role description if you want, and that ends it. So once you're done with leave, once you're done with this step, what you want to do next is where is it again? I'm sorry. All right, so you want to come here, you want to refresh this, and then you should have this in here. So we'll go back to our instructions and we're going to continue. Now, okay. So now skip to review because the other steps that we have, it's going to we just want the default value there. We can of course go through those just to see what they look like, and then that would be for your personal learning. And then we're going to submit. So now you can see that this is launching. So we'll wait for this to go from this blue to green to show that it has been successfully launched. I'm going to meet you when my environment has been launched. My environment has been successfully launched. And what I want to do now is I want to test my web application. So what you have to do is select the link under the name of your environment, this one. And then I'm going to just click on this and it's load here. So this, you can see this is the sample web app that we get. Remember, we chose sample web app in a particular step the other time. So once you see this, then this means that you have successfully what was it called? You have successfully launched an environment with Elastic Beanstalk. So this is your architecture now. We have this standalone Git repository architecture, and then we have a Elastic Beanstalk. So what we want to do now is to connect them. So let's move on to module 3, where we have the build project. So here now, um, in this module, we will use code build to build the source code that we have stored in the GitHub repository, and AWS code build is this, and that, and then you want to read that up on your own. So here we are going to be creating the project with code build. We're going to set up GitHub as the source provider for that project, and we're going to run a build on AWS code build. Again, you want to read up on the key concepts so that you are going to have an understanding of what they are. So the first thing I want to do is you want to configure the build project. So now I want to go to code build. Now we're going to create build project, and then here is the name. Copy paste. So for the source provider, we're going to be using GitHub. So we have AWS code commits, and code commits is AWS's own a source repository like native to AWS. But in this case, we're going to be using GitHub and not code commit. So we're going to be using a repository in my GitHub. So it says select GitHub, confirm that the confirm that the where is it? Oh, I'm already connected to GitHub. Okay, let me disconnect so that we can go through this together. So I'm sorry, you would not see that other one that I chose just now. So now that I have disconnected, we are going to go through the steps together now. Yes, source provider, GitHub, connect using OAuth, and then click on connect to GitHub. So we're going to click on confirm here to confirm that we are connecting code build to GitHub. Excuse me. So it says choose the summarize this. Now I think because I had connected earlier, I do not have to do this password thing. But I promise you that even as you are not seeing me do it, you are going to have it easy. It's nothing difficult at all. So now you're going to choose repository in my GitHub account. And then, just complete the steps on up until this point. And now, okay, so we're going to put the name of the repository. You could search here or you could just copy. I don't know who selected this one because it's definitely not me. So this is it here. In case you have plenty repositories and you cannot just start scrolling, just copy and paste. Why do I have that git? Hmm. Okay. So it's going to search and it's going to find this. So that is it. I'm coming. I just need to. Okay, it's fine. So now, confirm that managed image here is selected. You want to leave this as on demand anyways. Managed image specifically. Select Amazon Linux 2 as your operating system. I'm not seeing 2. I'm seeing just Amazon Linux. That's fine. For the runtime, we're going to be choosing standard. For the image, we're going to be choosing says some 3.0. This is the only 3.0 here, so it's definitely the one. And always use the latest image some chosen. Now, oh, my mom. So new service rule. I could just use existing service rule because I'm sure I have this service rule already. So just leave it at that. Confirm that what else? New service rule, this. Okay, that ends the stop part. Now I want to create a build spec for the project. Select insert build commands. So we're going to select this. And then we're going to copy this and we're going to replace what we have in the where's the code editor? I'm assuming it's this guy here. Yep. Okay, switch to editor, sorry. So, and I'm just going to highlight all of this and paste what I've got in there. So that is it. And then we're going to choose create build the project. That's all we've got to do here. And it's not going, I said it. So I was sure that was going to happen. So I'll just do existing service role and I'm going to select it. So that's it. And then create build the project. All right, so that has been done. The next thing we want to do is that we want to test the build the project. So what we are going to do now is we are going to click on start build and it's going to load a page to configure the build project. The build process, sorry. So we're going to ensure that it's referencing the right What's the English called? Says it's referencing, where is it again? The correct GitHub repo. So where is it? Excuse me. So down here got the code build source directory and blah 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 blah, and you can see the name of the repository in here. So that's all well and done. So the build has succeeded. So wait for the build to complete. As you're waiting, you should see a green bar at the top of the page with the message build started. And after a couple, a green something and a succeeded message confirming the build worked. We already have succeeded in here. So here is what our architecture currently looks like. We've got this from the repository to a VS Code build. And now we want to move on to creating the delivery pipeline. So here we're going to set up a continuous delivery pipeline with source, build, and then deploy stages. So this is going to detect changes in the code stored in GitHub, build the source code using code build, and then deploy application to Elastic Beanstalk. So basically, instead of it being that when you make changes to your code source, you manually build and deploy, you're going to build a pipeline that does this for you. All you have to do is push changes to your repository and then sit back and watch the other processes complete. So let's get to it. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a new pipeline. So here we'll come to AWS pipeline. I don't need to come search, everything is in here. So I'll come to code pipeline and then click on pipelines. So in here, I'm going to create the new pipeline. So the pipeline name is going to be this, P and paste. Excuse me, we're going to be using a new service rule and then it's going to create this. But of course, I already have this service rule, so I'm just going to choose it. You just click on new service rule and you're going to get it. Now, we move on to the next configuration. And then here our source provider is going to be GitHub. So we're going to select GitHub. It says version 1. And then we're going to do connect to GitHub. So this one should be same to same at this point. So I'm just going to confirm. I'm not expecting it to, okay, yeah, it's just same to same. So you're just going to confirm it and that's it. So from the repository is, yes. So we're going to select that repository and this is it. I'm coming. This is something. Okay, so it's the one. So we're going to be using the main branch because you have just one branch anyways. So ensure that GitHub webhooks is selected here so that whenever you make a change to your GitHub repository, it's going to automatically start your pipeline. So that's it. Now for the build provider, what do we have here? AWS code build, of course. And now the region. Now look at this. It says select US first 2 is Oregon, and then select this something, no options. Why? Because you've been working in North Virginia. So please stay in North Virginia. You don't have to move to US West, except you have been working there all along. So you will find your work in the US East one. Now you select this and then we move on to the next one. We want to configure the deploy stage. So from here, we're going to be deploying with Elastic Beanstalk, and then we're going to leave this at CSS1, not Oregon. Now select the field under application name and confirm this. So they will get started that we created earlier. And for the environment, we're going to be selecting this as well. And then we move on to the next one. And that is it to create the pipeline. So now let us see yes. So now we are going to watch this move from being in progress to succeeded. So the search stage is currently in progress. It succeeded. And then this is the build stage. So let's see what we have here. It says once the deploy stage has switched to green and it says succeeded, choose this. A new tab listing your Beanstalk environment should open. Select the URL in this. You should see a web page with a white background and a text included in your. So we don't have to go through this. I still have that opened here. I'm just going to come refresh it. So we are going to wait for all of the stages to succeed. So the build stage has succeeded. Now we move into the deploy stage. Now wait for that to succeed as well. In case anything happens in here and something fails, you are definitely going to see why it failed. And then you'd be able to adjust it, and then you um you start the stages again. You retry the failed stage or you retry all of the stages depending on what happens and what changes that you make. So we'll just wait for this stage to change as well. I think I'll just pause recording and get back when it has succeeded. So this has now succeeded as well, and now I am going to come reload this page. So here it says you go back to Elastic Beanstalk, you go copy that link again. You don't have to do that if you still have it open the way I do have mine. So now we can see that we're no longer using the sample application provided by Elastic Beanstalk, but we're now using what we provided by ourselves because we have configured that to function that way. So we didn't manually deploy this. We just, pushed, and then now we have this. So this is how it's going to be working henceforth. So this is our current architecture. We have the user making changes in the code source, and then comes to code build, and then we have it deployed in Elastic Beanstalk. So now let's move on to the next module and see what we've got to do next. So here it says in this module, we use AWS Code Pipeline to add a review stage to our continuous delivery pipeline. So this one is just to ensure that you have a human going through manually approving changes that are to be deployed to your what's it called, to your environment, just to ensure that things are fine. It's just a way, like a multi-factor authenticator kind of thing. So that's what this stage is for, the review stage. So here, what are you going to accomplish? You're going to add a review stage to your pipeline and you're going to manually approve a change before it is deployed. And so let's get to it. So once you create a review stage in the pipeline, so it says open the pipeline console, this. That's if you have closed this before, of course. So just want to click on this edit here and then choose the white add stage button between the build and deploy stages. So this is the build stage and this is the deploy stage. So we're going to click on add stage. So for the stage name, we're going to enter review. Control C, Control V, and then add stage. So in the review stage, you're going to click on add action group, and then the action name is going to be manual underscore review. Copy and paste. The action provider is going to be manual approval. So going to be doing this manually. So you're going to leave, it says confirm that the optional fields have been left blank. We're going to leave everything blank. Of course, you can go through them to see what some of these are. And then we're going to click on done. So, some. Okay, so we're going to save and then save. So now we now have source, build, review, and deploy. So you can see source, build, review, and the deploy stages. So want to push a new commit to our repo so that we can test the what's it called? So that we can test the review stage. So we'll come back to our beautiful code editor here, and then we're going to edit what we have in here. So this one currently says, hello world, I'm Fauzia. I'd say this is my first CD project. And then we're going to save. And now I am just going to run my git commands. So if you are using your Mac terminal or you're using git bash, it's same to same. You remember how we did it the first time. So I'm going to paste all of this in here. I'm going to leave the commit message as is. And we are going to do git push. Then enter. So now let us monitor the, hold on, thank you. So you don't have to do anything in here. You're going to see as this stages start. So you see this one succeeded just now, the source. Now we are in the build stage and it's currently in progress. And so we're going to wait until it gets to this stage. Then we're going to manually review and manually approve it rather. So it says when the review stage switches to blue, choose the white review button, write an approval comment in the comments text box, and then choose the orange approve button. And then we're just going to wait for every other thing to do. So now it's in here. So we're going to click on review and I'm going to click on approve. And just if I wish, type something in here. Okay, that's a very bad thing to do. Approved for, sorry. Say approved for test deployment. Okay, my keyboard has a mind of its own. And then would submit. So after you do that, this stage is the next one that is going to complete. So this is currently in progress, and then you're going to have this. And once that is done, what we want to do is we want to go and reload this page to see the changes that we just made. I'm reloading and says bad gateway. That is because this is still in progress. So we'll just wait for it to complete. And that is it. So I'll meet you back once this has succeeded. Yeah, so this has succeeded. I'm going to reload this page of mine, and now I should see. It says this is my first C continuous delivery project. And that is it. You have say congratulations, you have a fully functional continuous delivery pipeline hosted on AWS. So if you have to do anything, you have to add flesh to this application, you do that, and then each time you push to your repository, you're going to have all of the stages. You would have to come and approve manually, of course, and then this is going to occur. Now, the manual approve, I'm sure you understand that it is just to ensure that there is an extra check to be sure that what is being pushed to production is what should be there, and it's just an extra form of check. You can always remove that if you are sure that you do not want it. So that is it. So we now have our full architecture in place. Now, we want to clean up our resources. So let's do that one by one. Since we are currently in code pipeline, I think we should start from here. So I'll come to pipelines, I'd click on this, and then I'll delete pipeline. But I'm not going to delete it anyways. Okay, let me delete it. So click on delete pipeline, we type delete, and then we delete. So we have done number 2. Let's go to code build. Okay, so we can go to code build here and then build projects. Don't mind me, instead of going back and then coming back again, just change them as they are. So we're going to delete this as well. So type delete, and then we are going to delete. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to the Elastic Beanstalk to go and delete the environment. So come to Beanstalk and we delete this guy. We terminate environment. So it says you should enter the name to terminate it. So I'm going to copy and paste. Oh my God. What's up? Is there a space at the beginning? Oh, there is. That's why I cannot terminate it. So, and finally, it says delete pipeline resources from S3. So it means that the, what's it called? Our resources were stored in S3. The pipeline resources were stored in Amazon S3. So I'd come down here and it says code pipeline yes was 2. Mine is going to be SS1 because that is where I've been working in. So here, I'm going to empty it first. Ouch. You know you cannot delete an S3 bucket without emptying the buckets first. So I'm going to empty and then I can delete. All right. So yeah, that is it. So that brings us to the end of this. I hope this has been valuable so far, and I hope to see you in our next video. Thank you for staying till the end, and do enjoy the rest of your time. Bye.